back at it again. The video selfie tutorial was very well received by many of you. However, for some of you, you're not quite getting it. That's okay. The lighting seemed to be the hardest part. I actually ran into a few people who did one of these when they saw me, and I was like, what are you doing? They're like, I'm framing. That's cool. I'm glad you took that away from this. Lighting, I get it. It's difficult. We didn't even get into things like light temperature or any of those other terms that would make your video better, but would be also very confusing. I'm going to introduce to you a tool, and we're going to unbox it, even though we've technically already unboxed it. A tool that will help you get your lighting consistent and look good for every type of video you do. At this point, you guys have met my primary volunteer, Theodore. He is not as concerned with his heavenly treasures, and thusly, I have a hard time getting him to come in and committing to help me for a day or two at a time. You've met Mannequin. Mannequin is good for some things, mostly just standing there, really nothing else. I need working arms, so I am reaching deep down in the ranks to my third string volunteer. He's a little quirky, a little goofy. He does lend a hand when I need it, and so without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Joe. Say hi, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
That's funny. So, being is that we already technically unboxed this ring light, which is the newer 18-inch ring light. Got off Amazon for about $90. In order to give you a better viewing experience, Joe is going to put this thing together and show you how it works while I instruct on what things do. So he's gonna go ahead and get started. May require, puts his coffee down, but we're getting there. There she is. First item in the box is this tripod. This is painful. It's got this flexible, here, we'll hold this out here for a sec. Got this flexible neck on it. This is, yep, well, okay. Okay.
Looks beautiful.
And there's a tripod with a flexible neck so you can angle what goes on it. Yep, it's a little loose, but we'll get it. And then the next component is the light itself.
Oh yeah, I can do that, yeah. You know, I'm not sure, I don't think I oh, hold on, I got it. Hold on. Safety first. Much better, yeah. Okay. And then all you do is you just gotta turn the spinning.
So an LED is, the brighter it is basically the more LEDs are in it. In this case, some LED lights work differently, but all these little yellow dots are actually just little chips. So there's an array of them, which makes it brighter. However, that light's gonna be very harsh. It's kind of like akin to, in the last selfie video, how I said if you're directly in a sunbeam, you're gonna get blowouts. Not the thing when you eat too much Taco Bell, Joe.
Sorry about that.
It's a whole different thing. Basically, you have to diffuse that or soften it. So it comes with these panels. Yep, looks like your face, perfect. And they just, they attach there, and that's how, yep.
Just like that.
Done. Literally all there is to it. We'll finish putting the diffusers on in a minute, so I just want to show you guys what it looks like with and without them. But I'm going to take this over into the workroom and leave the lights off. So we are in the workroom. I'm using Joe here as my model to show you how the ring light works. And I know it looks really cool right now, but that's because I'm shooting on a really nice camera. It's doing a lot of the work to make it look good. So here's how this works. There he is. He kind of framed him in just like the last video. We put a fist on his head. Since he's sitting, he's a little further back. We're not as worried about his belly button. We just make sure he's in the middle of the frame. Got his coffee there, of course. And This is really cool. Remember what I told you guys about touching the screen to get the exposure? So I'm touching his face on my phone to get the exposure. But here's a cool little thing. So this thing has a dial, gets real dark, and you can see my phone made an adjustment, and it's using the ambient light of the other room over there to light him. And this is very dim. And we're gonna crank it up and see what happens to the image. So it got super blown out. It's probably hard to tell. He's also blown out, his eyeballs. But we're gonna, watch, we're gonna touch his face. Probably hard to tell, but it did expose for his face. That's the great thing about this light is since it's a dial, you can crank it down and find exactly where you're A, not blinding him, but also getting the right exposure to match the room you're in. So he looks really good right there. We'll see it from the back here. Looks really nice, right? This is roughly daylight color temperature, which is 5600K. Again, that's way too technical for most of you, but just know that this matches like outdoor daylight. So if you're gonna supplement this with light, you'd wanna supplement this with natural light. And then there's like a yellowish color filter that also goes on here. That matches more like indoor, like your fluorescence, and lamp lights is gonna be more of an amber color. I'm also gonna show you what happens when you take the diffuser off. Yeah, so we get a really harsh light. It looks really bad, and you can probably see in my camera a little silhouette right here of those lights. What you're getting is all those lights are so harsh, they're hitting the lens element of my camera, causing some kind of weird refraction. You're getting this like weird halo effect. So again, that's what the diffuser does. It just helps you spread that light out and make it look nice. Now that we're in the workroom, we have a controlled lighting environment. Really the only light that's hitting Joe is the ring light. I wanted to show you with my actual camera because I can set the exposure. Again, that means very little to a lot of you. Basically, I'm gonna compare the ring light, which is actually over here, but you can see the reflection here. You can see how it's affecting Joe and making him look right here, and this is just completely undiffused. This is just the light's at like 30% power, and there's nothing filtering the light. It's literally just those LED lights hitting him right in the face. So I've snapped on the diffuser, and this is what you're seeing with just that plastic diffuser on it. Softens everything up, like the highlights on his face are a little more comfortable, a little more realistic looking, and the shadows and the highlights kind of match a little bit better. All right, so now I've thrown this kind of bonus piece that we ordered. I didn't even know we ordered it. It's like a piece of fabric. In the film world, we call it scrim or like diffusion fabric, and it just stops down the light even more. It's even softer now. It actually softened up the image so much that he's actually a little underexposed, which is fine. I know, sorry. The point is, it took it even a step further to kind of making the shadows and highlights of his face match closer together so that you have a nice soft image. So now that we see what all three of them look like, I'm gonna turn this up to properly expose it. And it just looks good. Just looks nice. Yeah, looks good. All right, now that you've seen how this ring light works, this thing was like $90 on Amazon. That little extra piece of like scrim fabric stuff, this thing right here. Focus. Focus. This little piece of fabric was like another 10 bucks. The whole kit and caboodle is about $100, which comes with a tripod. And you know, it's just, like I said, it's a good way to get consistent lighting on your subject for these selfie videos without having to learn too much about, you know, light diffusion and light temperature. You just turn this on, put your phone in the middle of it, and you go to town.